The sound of engines hums softly inside a hangar in northwest England. Rows of Eurofighter Typhoon jets stand gleaming beneath the overhead lights at BAE Systems Warton facility, a cathedral of modern engineering that symbolises Britain's defence pride. Workers in safety vests move carefully between aircraft parts, inspecting panels and instruments. This is not an ordinary visit day. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is here, fresh from announcing one of the most significant defence contracts Britain has secured in decades, a multi-billion-dollar deal with Turkey. The visit follows the signing of a 10-year contract worth nearly $11 billion. Under the agreement, the United Kingdom will supply 20 Eurofighter Typhoon jets to Turkey, with an option for 20 more. It is a deal that repositions Britain at the heart of NATO's evolving airpower map, from the northwestern edge of Europe to its southeastern frontier. For the Prime Minister, it's both an economic victory and a geopolitical signal. Britain intends to remain a central player in collective defence. As Starmer enters the hangar, surrounded by security personnel and company executives, the clatter of cameras rises. His tone is measured but upbeat. He knows what this deal represents for both industry and politics. In his own words, "We were there to sign this huge deal with Turkey for 20 Typhoons, with an option for another 20. That is a massive order, the biggest we've had in the best part of a generation. £8 billion, 20,000 jobs in all, including, of course, 6,000 or 7,000 here and in the northwest." The figures alone draw applause from nearby employees. Many of them have lived through years of uncertainty as defence orders fluctuated and contracts stalled. Now they stand at the centre of a revived manufacturing surge. In a region once known primarily for its textile mills and shipyards, the aerospace industry has become the modern backbone. Warton, near Preston, has been building advanced fighter aircraft since the 1940s. Today, it is a hub where British engineering meets European collaboration, a joint venture between the UK, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Each Typhoon jet is a symbol of shared innovation, assembled piece by piece in hangars like this one before being tested in the skies above the Irish Sea. The sound of a distant turbine echoes faintly as technicians test a jet engine in the background, punctuating the Prime Minister's words with an unmistakable reminder of the work underway. The significance of this contract extends far beyond Britain's borders. Turkey's decision to purchase the Eurofighter Typhoon marks a new chapter in its defence partnership with NATO allies. Ankara's relationship with Washington has cooled in recent years, especially over the F-35 programme. But this deal, signed with London, signals a pragmatic alignment, one built on shared capability and interoperability within the alliance. As Starmer put it, the great thing about the Typhoons and Turkey is that we are at the north of Europe, while they are the southeast. And because we have the same capabilities, we are now interoperable. So we can work more closely with Turkey within the NATO alliance. That word, interoperable, carries strategic weight. It means that British and Turkish pilots will soon fly jets capable of communicating seamlessly, sharing radar data, and coordinating missions under NATO's Integrated Defence Command. It's not just about aircraft, it's about alignment, trust, and deterrence in a world where airspace is contested more than ever before. The cameras follow Starmer as he moves along the production line, shaking hands with engineers and machinists. Some of them pause their work briefly, smiling as he thanks them for their contribution. He tells them this is not only a contract, it's a statement of confidence. This is about Typhoons and building Typhoons. It's about the United Kingdom and our defence and security, but it's also a massive contribution to NATO as we go forward with shared capability. And don't underestimate that, because other countries will now be looking in and saying, shouldn't we be getting into the same position as well? Those remarks resonate in European capitals. Across the continent, governments are racing to modernise air fleets, replenish stockpiles and coordinate procurement under NATO's umbrella. Britain's deal with Turkey could encourage similar partnerships with Poland, Finland or Romania, countries that are rapidly expanding their air defence capacities in response to regional tensions. For Starmer, this announcement also strengthens his domestic standing. After months of political pressure to show economic leadership, this contract delivers both jobs and international prestige. The figure of 20,000 positions linked to the deal underscores his government's claim that defence spending is not merely about security, but about growth, research and industrial renewal. In a region still recovering from years of economic drift, the BAE Systems facilities across the northwest of England have become symbols of Britain's high-tech future, one that merges traditional craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. Inside the hangar, the Prime Minister listens attentively as BAE Systems managers brief him on production timelines and export logistics. The jets destined for Turkey will be equipped with advanced radar, electronic warfare systems, and multi-role weapon configurations suitable for air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. These are aircraft designed for flexibility, capable of patrolling contested borders, intercepting hostile aircraft, or carrying precision strikes if deterrence fails. Each Typhoon takes more than a year to complete, involving a complex supply chain that stretches across Europe and supports hundreds of smaller firms. As the visit continues, Starmer moves toward a group of young apprentices, the next generation of aerospace engineers. He stops to talk with one of them about the importance of the project, emphasizing that contracts like this not only sustain jobs, but build skills that define national capability. We need British talent, British innovation, and British engineering at the heart of our defence future, he says. For the apprentices listening, it's a moment that connects local opportunity with global impact. Outside, the Lancashire wind sweeps across the airfield as a demonstration Typhoon is rolled toward the runway. Its metallic body glints under a pale English sun. In the distance, the sound of engines spooling up cuts through the air, a reminder of why this deal matters. These are not just machines, they are instruments of deterrence, diplomacy and industrial strength all at once. Back inside, Starmer resumes his address to the workers gathered near the nose of a finished Typhoon. Thank you not just for being here today, but thank you for putting me in a position where I could sign that deal yesterday on our country's behalf. On behalf of NATO, his gratitude is genuine, but it also reflects political calculation. He wants this moment to be remembered as a turning point in Britain's post-Brexit industrial story, a demonstration that London can still compete globally, forge bilateral defence deals, and lead inside NATO without depending on Brussels. For Turkey, the contract cements its place as a key NATO player on Europe's southeastern flank. Turkish Air Force officials say the Typhoons will bolster national air defence and enhance joint exercises with allies. The interoperability Starmer spoke of will allow Turkish pilots to train alongside RAF crews, using identical systems and tactics. It's a form of military diplomacy, quiet but powerful, that deepens ties between two nations with complex histories but shared security interests. The deal also has a technological side. BAE Systems will not only deliver the aircraft, but also provide maintenance, training, and future upgrades. That means continued collaboration between British and Turkish engineers long after the first jets are delivered. Analysts describe it as a bridge between production and partnership, one that ensures strategic continuity over the next decade. As the cameras follow Starmer toward the exit, his remarks shift from gratitude to ambition. I want this order to be the first of many to come as we ramp up our defence spending, he declares. The line is deliberate, signalling that this is not a one-off triumph, but the start of a larger national push to rebuild Britain's defence manufacturing base. It also serves notice that the government intends to compete for new export markets as global demand for advanced fighter jets grows. In the corridors of Whitehall, such words are likely to be dissected for weeks. Britain's defence policy has entered a phase of recalibration, one that balances fiscal prudence with strategic necessity. Starmer's Labour government has emphasised industrial cooperation and alliance management rather than unilateral military build-up. Yet deals like this one show that economic diplomacy can achieve what politics alone often cannot: tangible results measured in jobs, exports, and strengthened alliances. Beyond economics, the Typhoon contract sends a signal to Moscow and Tehran alike. NATO's southern frontier is being reinforced. The jets, once deployed, will patrol skies that border volatile regions from the Black Sea to the eastern Mediterranean. Their presence will remind adversaries that Turkey, though occasionally independent-minded, remains firmly embedded within the NATO framework. In that sense, Britain's industrial handshake with Ankara becomes a cornerstone of regional deterrence. As daylight fades over Warton, the Prime Minister takes a final look across the hangar. The gleaming jets, the workforce in motion, the hum of machinery, all combine into a tableau of national resilience. It's a reminder that defence production is not only about military readiness, it's about identity. For decades, Britain's northwest has been a place where industrial skill meets national service, and today those traditions converge again in the shape of the Eurofighter Typhoon. Back outside, reporters gather around the Prime Minister's motorcade. He repeats his key message: cooperation, capability and confidence. The day's images, Starmer standing before a Typhoon jet, workers applauding, engineers explaining avionics systems, will circulate across media outlets projecting Britain's renewed ambition as a defence exporter. In political terms, it's a moment of control, a visual that conveys both authority and gratitude. As the convoy departs down the narrow Lancashire roads, a light drizzle begins to fall, catching the reflection of the departing headlights. Inside the hangar, work resumes immediately. Technicians climb back onto platforms, welders ignite their torches, and the rhythmic pulse of production continues, uninterrupted, relentless, and precise. For them, the Prime Minister's visit is a morale boost, but the real story is the labour that follows, the 1,000 daily actions that turn political promises into airborne power. Back in London, analysts will spend days parsing the strategic meaning of Starmer's deal. Some will call it pragmatic, others ambitious, but most agree it's a clear assertion that Britain's defence industry remains one of the most advanced and reliable in the world. It reinforces BAE Systems as a central pillar of NATO's airpower infrastructure and reaffirms Britain's status as a manufacturing nation with global reach. The voice of Keir Starmer still echoes through the news cycle. This is about the United Kingdom and our defence and security, but it's also a massive contribution to NATO as we go forward with shared capability. Those words encapsulate the day, a blend of domestic pride and international purpose. The Typhoon jets lined up in Warton are more than machines. They're the embodiment of Britain's strategic intent to defend, to lead, and to build. As the final frame fades, one aircraft remains in focus, its nose pointed toward the open hangar doors. Beyond lies a sky of grey and promise, the same horizon that links Britain to Turkey and, through NATO, to the defence of an entire continent.